be under consideration here. I mean, Lissandra's still up, and that's a big key pick.
Yep, that is the other one, and does get banned away, so not too surprising. We'll see what they want to go with instead, and instantly lock in Lee Sin for Yuri.
Absolutely, I mean, the strong jungle pressure coming out there. Jarvan's bans are perhaps the strongest all-around picks of bans between Jarvan and Rek'Sai, so it'll be interesting to see what junglers are being considered over on the side.
Plenty of time for Sun to make their first two picks. That's a lot of the mid-lane bans especially, so a bit more concentration there.
Everything I do is one big show. It's about damn time that I take control. Put me under the microscope and watch me take control. What's this? I finally read this helplessness. I feel like I'm upside down.
Lulu also the second pick as well. Hand him a flex pick and lane if they want to, or Ken Jungle's if they want to, but probably going to be Moringa. But you know, has pretty good flexibility, can lane in almost every lane. Top mid or across.
I mean, even if you look over to the Southeast Asian team, we saw some of the AD carry Lulu. I mean, what was it more AD carry, but in the AD carry role. So played all across the map.
Yeah, just a really good flex pick, and we don't see it too often, but making maybe a bit of a resurgence, especially good against assassins with how she can protect her carries. So see what happens there.
And it's those flexibility picks. I mean, like the Lissandra, who was the last ban here. It just puts a bit of doubt into the opponent's mind. You can't pick champions in any lane that are hard countered by that move.
Yeah, and this is to be expected here for Rich Gang, locked in their very favourite bottom lane. It seems like Sona there coming down for Rich Shah and Ezreal there.
Hey, willing to put your mind that this is definitely going to be a bot lane Ezreal.
Yes, I think so. It's Dacian to play a lot of Ezreal, doing a lot of work on that champion. So I think so. Of course, can be a flex pick as well, but they love their heavy poke lane in Sona.
It does feel like those champions are creeping on. The flex picks, you know, Lissandra really came out as a flex pick this year or towards the end of last year. Ezreal ever since Faker brought it out in OG. And obviously people have been playing the AD and the AP Ezreal mid, but really coming to the fore now. So just so many flex picks in League of Legends right now.
Yeah, Jarvan is another great one as well. He's banned, of course, in this one. And we've shortened the jungle pool a lot. That's something we've talked about quite a bit as well. With Lee Sin, the first pick here by Rich Gang, and two other jungle bans, the other two best junglers, arguably. No surprises if sudden fit off for Rengo, which is a little more off the beaten path.
But this is there's the lock. I love to see Jax coming. I mean, Jax had those tweaks in recent patches. He's not quite where he was a few months ago. But if he ever gets going, I mean, the champ is the champ.
Yeah, Corki there as well. A really strong AD carry that's very popular. Pretty good against Ezreal. It's a fairly even matchup, but Sona could potentially tip the balance, especially if Lulu is going to be down there with Corki. But we'll see what happens here. And of course, Rich Gang have a few more picks for themselves as well, so we'll see what they want to go for.
It's interesting because if you look down the purple side here, there's a lot of synergy when it comes to dive. You've got Rengo's going to dive in with his ultimate. You've got Lulu to assist with that, and Jax and Corki are going to want to go in as well. So there's a lot of engage on the purple side here. We'll see a bit more mobility, and Ari confirmed that. A bit more mobility coming out on the Rich Gang side.
Yeah, and they might take it in. They will go for the Malphite once again here. So big engage already in those last two picks for Rich Gang. We kind of had the core, the Lee Sin and the Sona S bottom lane, and all of a sudden lots of good single target CC and a big team fight ultimate for Malphite as well.
I don't see the dive synergy with the Malphite. Malphite by himself obviously creates excellent engagement there. You're going to probably see a lot of skirmishing. I mean, Lee Sin and Ari in a 2v2 situation is very, very strong. The Sona Malphite engage is obviously going to come through, and a lot of mobility between Ezreal and Ari.
Then the last pick now for Sudden Spear as well. We'll see what they want to take in, and I'm not going to say anything else. They do hover over a few picks here as well, but Sudden Spear got a couple of choices. Seems like they're going to fill out that mid lane, although again, Lulu being a flex pick, they could go for a last pick support.
I mean, Cassiopeia will be a very unorthodox choice. I mean, Cassiopeia is a bit more expected here.
I'm going to break my heart. There's no Cassiopeia.
No,
not
Cassiopeia.
Today. But we'll see here. Cassidy's sort of interesting as a champion again. Another sort of flex pick that we talked about. But Sunfig got plenty of choices. Going to go with maybe something a bit more standard. And it's going to be the Assassin Fizz now.
Absolutely. There's strong Assassin flavor in mid lane between Ari and Fizz here. And it'd be up to the junglers probably to snowball that matchup. I'd probably give it to Fizz on paper just because of that burst potential. But Ari, she can turn a trick with that ranged attack against that Fizz.
Yeah, and I think Ari... Every time you go into any Ari lane and you ask me, okay, what do I think?
Skill matchup.
I'm going to tell you exactly that it's a skill matchup. And I mean, that's sort of credit to Ari as a champion, and the players are very good Ari players as well. They're just, she's got so many options, so much good mobility with her ultimate up that every matchup really just is about how well do you know your champion and the enemy champion.
And it's a champion that Chenny Boy has long-term experience. I remember watching him on that champion many a time here. And it'll be a case, I think, of whether Huey can put a lot of pressure on before level 6, you know, before Rengar especially gets to level 6, with that strong ganking kit of his, or whether the Rengar-Fizz combination at level 6 just destroys Chenny Boy on that arc.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that we have basically 2 tanks in the top lane as well. We've got Malphite, who we don't see too often, but I believe Rich Gang do have some history with, and Jax, of all the big bruiser champions to come back, going to see play here as well. Now, for the first game at least, for Sudden Fear.
And that Jax, I mean, Jax has always been sort of considered a quasi-counter to Malphite's always been considered a quasi-counter to Jax because she has that sheer attack speed reduction. Makes Jax's trades very difficult, but he can't really force Jax out of lane, you know, especially if you start Flask or some potions. You're going to be able to farm on Jax, and you have to think if we get to a late game position, you'd fancy a farmed Jax over a farmed Malphite.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about Gnar as a top laner recently, just through all of today. Obviously got a ban here as well, such a strong champion. You know, a big late game Gnar is already annoying enough. I feel like farm Jax is maybe a cut above that even in terms of how potent he is.
I mean, he doesn't have quite the same initiation. He can get a ranged stun in, you know, with his gap closed, but probably not going to happen. But that damage, I mean, the consistent damage over a fight, definitely going to have, Rich Gang are definitely going to have to watch that Jax. If he snowballs out of control, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting in that Aurelia, maybe the other big sticky champion that we see a lot more of, obviously not going to be played compared to Jax, sorry. Jax not as sticky, but I think a lot tankier. Maybe arguably even has more damage output as well.
And you see a bit more Aurelian competitive than Jax just because Aurelia has a safer laning phase. She farms so well under turret, and she has that sustain. Jax, he does have that snowball potential about him, but he can be held down. And if he doesn't get tanky after, you know, that first Trinity Force that we expect to see, he struggles.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. Of course, early jungle pressure is going to be important here as well. Lee Sin vs Rengar, sort of a classic jungle matchup as well.
And it absolutely is, and it's one of those cases of the very early ganking flavor versus the potential of 6. And if Rengar can get 6 uninterrupted with his lanes even or better, you're going to fancy the Rengar. If Lee Sin can get things going much earlier than Rengar can come and force, you're going to have to fancy the Lee Sin. So a skill matchup, as is across the board here to some degree.
Yeah, and I guess moving into our last match before we do get into our game, Lulu, a support we have not seen very much of. How do you think Lulu's going to go? Or just maybe in general in terms of supports on this patch?
I like Lulu in the non-sustain lane just because she has that ranged auto attack with the health picks. She can do quite a lot of damage in trades. But against a Sona, I have to feel that, you know, Sona has the potential to have sustain quite significantly.
I'd like to see it. Almost in the game, of course, but give it a little bit more until we go back in.
So, I mean, going into the late game here, I think it's going to be a lot on the Ari and there's real beauty. This is kind of a two-fold comp if you look at this game combo, just because you're going to see a lot of potential damage coming out of Ari and Israel. And whether they can do that or not is going to depend on that snowball.
Yeah, that's I guess the thing about playing Israel in particular is just you never want to be caught in a situation where your Israel can't do anything. Just because you can be kind of an awkward champion, I guess, at some point.
It can definitely be that. I mean, it'll be interesting what flavor of Ezreal we get here. Obviously, the blue Ezreal is very common. You can still see the Trinity Force into Infinity Edge. Ezreal is a very flexible champion when it comes to his builds. And what we're going to see going forward could influence how this matchup goes. I mean, looking at the enemy side, the blue Ezreal is going to have a bit more self-peel against the Jax and the Fizz to some degree. So that might be an attractive thing there. Maybe just to Blade the Ruin King, go full carry Ezreal, just so he has a bit of self-peel against the Jax and Rengar dive. There's a lot of different flavors of Ezreal. That's why he's such a loved and flexible champion. We'll have to wait and see how he's built.
Yeah, I feel like my other big question is probably Sona here as well. Again, another support that we don't see that much of anymore. It's a lot of Thresh, a lot of Janna, and a lot of Nami. Now, Janna, I believe, did get a ban here in this series, if I recall correctly. So, obviously can't have her in this game, but I think Sona is almost underrated as a support on this patch.
I think to some degree, you don't see her in the professional play very much. You know, look to the famous leagues like the Korean leagues. You don't see much Sona there. I mean, she's still very squishy. It's always kind of been her downfall that if you can never get on top of her, if you can get CC, she dies very quickly. But in lane, she has that undeniable power. You know, she has great poke. She has sustain, which so few champions in the bot lane have these days. She was always seen as a very favorable matchup against Janna, just because, you know, she had that constant poke and constant sustain to keep someone going. And the engaged synergy between Malphite and Sona is undeniable. You know, you can get about 2.5 seconds of hard CC there, maybe even 3 seconds. So there is the potential for it to be used very well, and it's something that Rich Gang support is very, very experienced with.
All right, so we are into our first game here between these two. This is a best of 3, remember, between Rich Gang and Sudden Fear. Rich Gang on the left, our blue side for this first game, Sudden Fear on the right. Our red side here is all the players. They're just going to move out here at level 1. Let's see what they can see. Just try and probably set up quite defensively. We've seen a lot of defensive level 1 openings, I feel like, on this patch. Nobody really wants to go too aggro.
There has been the common fan out trying to get a little bit of information there, but probably not taking too much of it.
See, day shift just kind of poking back and forth up against his face. George has done a lot of big setup here. Sona's going to guard the bottom side.
Everything I do is one big show. It's about damn time that I take control. Put me under a microscope and watch me take control.
Looks like finally read this helplessness. I feel like I'm upside down.
I guess the interesting thing about the rework Doran's shield is that now it reduces damage on single target abilities, so even that Q harass can be so frustrating for a mount like Max's Q is going to be reduced for that Jax. So just a bit more sustain, a bit more health. Anything to get Jax through his laning phase and closer to his Trinity Force, he enjoys.
Yep, so we'll see. It looks like a Gromp into blue start there for Rengar. And Lee Sin's going to be going with the same start actually. So blue start for both jungles. So end up on opposite sides of the map for their first potential game.
Okay, we'll see the Krug start for Sona and Ezreal here. So we'll enter that lane with the level 2 advantage, or at least the potential for level 2 advantage here. I mean, Sona is a very good champion for taking those early Krugs because she has that strong auto attack, she has that Q start to be able to do some damage. Looking down the bottom here, let's see how many minions they've missed. It looks like they've only missed 1 minion here. Should be a significant experience advantage for Rich Gang.
Yep, so I think they split that camp there. Imagine going to finish that off. So nice little lead, and that should make for a nice aggressive level 2 all in. Which is always fun to see here. So we just farm up in the bottom. There's the level 2. See if they want to go in here at all. But again, I mean, Sona Ezreal is one of those very weird lanes because you can get kills and play aggressively and just do a lot of this where you poke back and forth, but you're not really all-inning people all that often.
No, I mean, you don't really have the all-in option till level 6, right, when you get access to the ultimates for both champions. So the level 2, it makes your lane more comfortable. And it's one of those situations where if they were pushed in and the other lane hit level 2, there's always a bit more potential than a Sona Ezreal, but obviously you take every advantage you can.
So we'll see. Is Huey going to keep pathing here? Go over to his Raptors now and start those up. We'll get the Raptor sense, but no wards at this level because it's mostly trinket wards at level 1 for him to potentially clear out. Pink Bromie on the other hand, clearing out his red, so both junglers going to be very swift towards level 4. In fact, Rengar quite close here, has farmed quite quickly, at least in on a pretty similar pace.
It doesn't look like Rengar is worried about any counter jungling or any potential dueling in the jungle at this point, so just happy to farm it out and get close to that critical level 6.
Yep. Coming up towards the top, just farming again. Pretty passive lanes early on here. That's kind of to be expected. I think a lot of the junglers does a good job actually lands on the path, but nice playful tricks are there to dodge some of them. So Cherry Boy going to get aggressive early on in this one.
I mean, just taking advantage of the range first melee matchup right there. I mean, doing his best to keep Fizz at low health for as much of a laning phase as possible because he knows that his life is going to be so much worse from level 6 onwards.
Down here, fun continues here. Ezreal, very, very slight CS lead. Got nothing to write home about at all. Pink Bromie farming up for this Rengar. Level 4 is going to be hit very shortly for both of these junglers. Should likely hit it off their next camps here. As Huey's going to pick up his red buff, and Rengar should clear out his Raptors. Maybe Rengar's going to be looking for that mid-lane gank. But I think, again, just playing safe here. And I'm not too sure if anyone's looking for any particular farm advantage. Maybe just that first dragon fight's important.
It looks like Rengar's sniffing around for a potential counter game, which is probably the strongest option he has in the early jungle. But yeah, exactly. No real advantages either way by either team.
Just continuing the farm. There's Huey actually going to make an appearance mid. Perhaps going to be in trouble. There's Huey moving in. He's going to try and find the Q. Waits very patiently and gets first blood.
Absolutely. Excellent Q follow through there for Huey. They pick up the first bug, push out the lane, and now Fizz is going to find this lane and struggle just a little bit more.
And killing a Fizz is a very difficult proposition, so a really stellar gank there from Lee Sin. able to pick up that first blood for himself and give Chennybo even more room in that mid lane. No CS advantage as he's going to go back spend that gold now that he got from the assist, but still just a great way to set up your game.
Absolutely, and just a very quick 300 gold advantage there for Chennyboy. He enters lane, working towards his Death Fire Graph as the first option here. Have a look at him. Just having a quick look. He is running the flat magic resist blue, so he has some defense against Fizz, but if Fizz ever gets an early snowball, you're going to worry if you go for that offensive option.
Pap staying pretty careful here as well. Kind of erring on the side of caution. His double drones is quite defensive, but obviously gives him a decent amount of short early game power as well if he wants to get in and get aggressive as well. I do like the fact, by the way, that we're seeing Ezreal pretty constantly push Sudden Fizz bottom lane back in towards this turret. And I think that's one of the interesting things about this particular matchup is that Corki can't really afford to use his spells on minions and clear them out. So Ezreal, the really awful pushing champion, tends to actually get ahead in pushing.
Absolutely. I mean, at any point, Corki wants to be using that phosphorus bomb for trades, just because obviously he gets the extra reveal, he gets the extra orders, and he usually wins a trade if he hits the phosphorus bomb. If he's using that mana on creeps, a lot less flexibility. And there's not many lane matchups where Ezreal can actually push a lane in. So he's going to take advantage of this one where he can.
Yeah, I think with Sona helping out as well, it's kind of it's amplified even a bit more. So we are seeing a bit of a lead open up in that bottom lane, actually 47-39 there on CS. Rich Homie there as well on the top on his Malphite doing the same, and Huey's actually fancying himself another gank. That's level 6 now for Malphite, a much easier lane to gank.
And if he clears out a few minions here, he does have the ult option. No, they decide just to push the turret in.
Pink Foamy also sneaking by, but Huey, yep, will just walk in here. Not quite level 6 for himself. Has to be a bit careful as he's gone fairly deep into enemy territory. He's just going to walk in there. Christmas trees going to pop there as well, but Rich Homie there to back him up on that Malphite. And they're going to start proxying together now.
And mousing over to Rengar, he's in that heart-wrenching position of being literally one creep away from 6. So wants to be involved, but chooses the better option of just backing out for now. Look at this pickup from Rengar. Very early boots and mobility. You can see he's not going to be looking to clear his camp. That's not his first priority.
That teleport there from Christmas trees as well will give up that potential tool for maybe an early-ish dragon here around the 10-minute mark. So Jax will teleport back to his own. Won't miss any CS. In fact, will start catching up a bit now as well. Maybe hoping to freeze the lane towards him to make farming a little bit easier. But instead, Huey is going to rock in. Does hit level 6 there after helping Chennyboy with his farming.
Interesting to see the first item buy of Sheen from Christmas trees here on the Jax. That obviously makes his all-in trades very strong. You know, the empowered strike autos, but I mean, no extra health against Malphite, even though it's not a Malphite with Ignite, it's not maybe mid-Malphite. Malphite still has that sheer burst, so you have to worry that if Huey comes in at the right time, they could burst down this Jackson's fairly low base health.
Yep, blue buff getting stolen away there as well. Will get picked up, I believe, went to Chennyboy there, so nice steal there from Rich Gang. They're going to go straight into a dragon here, then plop down a pink ward, and they fancy themselves. They know Christmas Trees doesn't have his teleport, and they should be a fairly easy take. I love Chennyboy kind of zoning out there as well.
Only the one very defensive red ward coming out here for Fizz, so not very much information on what's happening, though. When they see the 3 champions back, they have a pretty good idea that they're going to be done.
Yeah, Christmas Trees going to try and get some freedom into this turret. We're trying to get no teleport actually to use it to get down to that dragon area quite quickly here. Still it's not looking want to maybe look for a Taylor, but they're going to have to learn some safety to really do that, especially against someone like this.
That's how that would fit next. Frustration, but here we go.
Comes into the ult there as well. There's the kill from Malphite. Pat gets kicked out as well. Now Chennyboy going to run in as Rich Homie and Huey will chase him down, but Pat's not a lot of mana. Great shot there from Chennyboy, and that's 2 clean kills for Rich Gang.
Spoke too soon. Very nice choice of dive target out the Rengar, picking up Pats on the way out. Looking pretty good for Rich Gang.
Christmas Trees though does get the trade Suddenfield pick up their first turret of the game. In fact, the only turret of the game, as the top turret does fall to the Jax pressure. Rich Homie, they're going to clear out a pink court here. Looks like he put one of his own in there and wants to own all of the real estate in that brush.
So we're seeing a replay here. We're waiting. Rich Homie was just looking for his option, right? He was just looking for any go side. The flash charm was that. Excellent ult into an instant kill there on Rengar. Pats was kind of caught in a really awkward position here. I mean, a 3-man gang coming to him. The max range charm hits, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, didn't have his flash from the earlier pressure gank as well, so really smart from Lee Sin just to be behind him already and kick him back. I think he warthog to the Raptors to get out from under the turret aggro. Malphite tanking the whole time there as well, just made that so simple.
So Lots more happy farming going on in top lane here. Not too much damage to each other. I mean, no ignite to secure kills, and obviously the jungler's on the bottom side of the map here. So just happy times there. And in the bottom lane, we're having a look at the CS values. Ezreal creeping ahead. He's obviously very close to finish his mana Mune. Checking the gold values. He's got enough gold for it. He's probably going to pick that up and just keep powering up. It's looking like the blue Ezreal.
Yeah, and how does that change his comp potentially at all? I mean, obviously, I think against the bruisers like Rengar Jax, you're a bit safer, maybe a bit more comfortable on that build, but in terms of team comp, we already talked about maybe the low damage here on this comp for RG.
It's kind of an interesting spot, because I mean, blue Ezreal has a really strong third item power spike. You know, once he finishes Mana Moon and then gets the Iceborne Gauntlet into the last Whisper, very strong again. So more damage coming in.
Perhaps they're forced to flash out. That Chenny Boy going to come back in as well. There's the Spirit Rush chasing. Does he have a charge? A little bit of deception. Little white Paps does juke into the right brush, and no dice for Chenny Boy.
Paps really held his cool there to live. So good play from him there. I mean, the late game damage is very questionable for the Rich gang here. I mean, it's really relying on that Ezreal. I mean, if Ezreal, the mid game should be strong. I do fancy them in the mid game when it comes to the blue Ezreal, but in the late game, that's when the combo starts to suffer.
He day shifted here. Just sort of farming things up now. Again, could go back and spend his money. Doesn't really need to. He's going to keep farming up all he can. Get up very slowly ahead on CS.
Everything I do is one big show. It's about damn time that I take control. Put me under a microscope and watch me take control.
That's one of those situations that you said, so I mean, the amount of picks he's been changing is massive.
I finally read this helpless man.
Really strong. Paps has to play extra shape because it's not a turret in the lane here, so he's hanging back. Rengar's basically suicided by going halfway across the map, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, bad news for Fizz. I mean, a champion that's usually so slippery and so difficult to lock down, just being picked up here by continued pressure by Rich Gang. And Christmas Tree is actually, maybe has to be careful. That's a fight against Huey. Huey throws a Q back just to kind of send a message. And Christmas Tree will defend his turret, although it's getting quite low.
The CS advantage in mid lane, it's not massive, especially given the fact that Fizz has died twice, but I mean, Fizz is a snowball champion. All assassins are to some degree, but Fizz, if he's held down, like he's got a Sheen, he's going to work on the Lich Bane, as you see him take a bit more poke damage here. It's not until he has that Zonya to reset his cooldowns that he can really go aggressively into a team fight. As Lich Bane's going to be delayed to some degree, it could be 20-25 minutes till we see the Zonya's going.
And I think the important distinction is maybe to be like, yes, Fizz does need to snowball, but I think a lot of people when they started playing Fizz were all about like getting the level 2, level 3 kill and getting ahead. What you really just need is to stay even and get your Lich Bane. Good charm actually, going to get some trade damage in.
I agree with you in the sense that some lanes Fizz can bully from level 3 just with a strong all-in, but in general, especially against a ranged champion like Ari, sit back, get your items, and then show up in team fights and take someone out.
Yep, the issue being, of course, though, in this instance, Fizz is struggling to get that initial goal to really get his first power spike in. If that's delayed, the longer that's delayed especially, the harder it gets for him to start snowballing the game for himself.
To be honest, the 16 CS disadvantage here is actually misleading to some degree. We see a really big trade going on in the mid lane.
Chenny Boy having some fun. Huey there looks like he's scouting out some wars, and we will have RG grouped for this potential turret. It's getting reasonably low, about half health there, as Paps, with his ultimate, will not look for a fish just yet. Oh, Trisha Brudge just saying hello.
14 CS on paper is, I think they say 13 CS is a kill, so 14 CS would be what, 310 gold? The actual difference between these two mid laners here at the 13-minute mark, just consulting now, 1,200 gold that kill and 3 assists is afforded the Ari. So it's actually a far more significant lead than you would expect.
They shift a good bowler there from Pink Bomi. Moon's going to go and heal though. We'll keep him alive. He has to use every single spell to try and stay alive, but does finally go down. A good dive there from Corky. Does secure Sun Fear their first kill.
And I was going to point to Rengar here. Very smart tanking the turret. Knew his limits, knew how many shots he could take, and afforded Moon an easy kill.
And Kamuna now getting chased down by Sona. Has to be careful. Boosted actually does find that Q, but the rest of the team are here. They're Franco jumping in for the kill on Huey, and that's going to force the flash. The water brush up Bowler just wide though. And Pink Bomi going to be, oh, he does get it. The brushes just too convenient.
And Sona was in that frustrating position with no mana. Yeah, that's why I was waiting. I was waiting for that ultimate. It never came out.
Yeah, and I think Roman's probably, not too happy that he missed the ball there. Almost point blank on Sona, but plenty of brush there to chase down Sona. And again, with no mana, very easy kill. And this could be the first dragon now for Sudden Fear.
There was the mana for Crescendo. There would have been an early pick on Moon there, but we see a teleport coming out. Will it be enough to stop the dragon?
Actually going to fight in. Rich Homie maybe wants that Corky. Go in. Shenny Boy's going to dive in. Back in the ult. There's the unstoppable force to take out Corky. Shenny, though, is quite low. Christmas Tree is going to try and dive in, but Day Shifted has returned and will get that next kill. Now Pink Bomey gets destroyed by Malphite, and Paps is tanking far too many dragon hits. There's the double for Ezreal, and that went from bad to horrible for Sudden Fear.
It's just too much greed there, Baseline. They thought, okay, we got the kills down, we can get this dragon. But a teleport Malphite was the difference there. And the awkward thing was, Moon was actually tanking the dragon aggro so long there that by the time Malphite got in position, he was at about 300 health. He died incidentally to the ultimate.
Yeah, and we chat about this a little bit in that the new dragon is, timing-wise, you can take it at around the same time. You can't maybe cheese it anymore by juggling it, but 8 to 10 minutes, you can do that if you commit enough people to the dragon. It's not that tanky. What it does do though is a crap ton of damage.
It does a lot of unavoidable damage, and if anyone is around, even a Malphite, once the ultimate's up there, even that 300 to 500 burst damage Malphite can do, with that dragon tanking, you're gonna die.
Sudden Fear just really paid the price there. 5,000, no, not quite, 4,000 gold ahead for Rich Gang, sorry. We've got a decent lead coming into this one, and again, what we expect from this team is just really solid team play, lots of good objective control, and some strong 1v1ing, and we've pretty much gotten all of that so far in this game.
And the difference is no more observable than in the Assassins here. Looking at Ari here, well on their way to picking up a DFT, just needs the gold for the combined spell here. Still waiting on the Lich Bane, this Fizz. It's about 2,000 gold between the mid laners.
And Fizz, at this point would have ideally had the Lich Bane about 2 minutes ago. That's probably your ideal timing. I guess if you want to do an average of your timings, 15 minutes, probably a good time for Lich Bane for Fizz, but 16 already, 16 and a half, and not even completed is quite the delay here for the Fish. So Paps is going to struggle a bit until he picks up, and then hopefully he can start picking people off in fights.
Absolutely, doesn't even have the goal for that yet, so still going to try and farm up where he can.
Shani Boy now going to move in as well on his Ari. Again, close to that DFG, going to really start assassinating people once he gets it. But Rich Gang are just trying to strangle Sudden Fear off objectives. Now they've taken out multiple outer turrets here, all of them, and then an extra mid tier 2 turret in mid as well, with 4 turrets to 2 currently on that score.
And Dayshift is still farming out top. I think he's very close to his Iceborne Gauntlet here, and that's probably signifies that the mid games are ready to start for the Rich Gang here. I'd really fancy them if they took a fight here, especially if they can keep Fizz away from that Lich Bane.
Yeah, good call. Iceborne is done now for Dayshift and Israel, so he's going to move in again. And I mean, I think you're right that Rich Gang are starting to hit some key item timings here, and we'll have a very strong mid game. But the issue though is that they've just been winning early game, and with the way their comp works, I think they actually have to sort of snowball and win, because they don't really have strong late game. But right now they're setting themselves up to win with the comp that they've picked.
They're playing to their win conditions, probably the best way to look at it. They've had 2 dragons already, they're ahead in turrets 4 to 2. They're doing what they can to win with the team comp they've been given, and that's more than can be said for some of the teams in the LPL today. If you can recognize your win conditions and work on them and just avoid the game dragging out, you can definitely pick up a win here.
Oceanic getting aggressive at level 11 now on his Ari. Yeah, not quite picked up if he does have the gold. Probably does at this point, but a good rotation down towards the bottom. Rich Gang going to pick themselves up a tier 2 turret, loving the essence fuck usage by Ezreal as well. Going to make that tower a breeze.
Yeah, Jax obviously doesn't have a turret to pick up in the top lane just yet. He's pushing out waves. I don't know how long he has that luxury.
Take them all out to push them all out. I love the build here from Malphite as well. Very tanky, very tower dive oriented. We don't see that many teams anywhere in the world doing a whole lot of tower diving, but Malphite, to be honest, is going to make a case for a pretty strong diver, given his natural tankiness and those 2 big up lines.
And it would have been very interesting to be a fly on the wall during the pick phase of the Rich Gang, because one way you could look at this team is, alright, we've got Malphite against auto attack Jax, to some degree auto attack Rengar, and Forky here. I want to see Jax now one shot.
He's going to need one with his Chemistry does get the stun. He's going to fight back. Almost killed Jenny Boy, but Jenny Boy just a little too far ahead, picks up that kill.
Almost got the return kill here, but the fact that they've held Fizz down so far here, Lich Bane just finished 18 minutes, that much armor and attack speed reduction against a triple auto attacker team, it's looking really good for Rich Gang.
It is indeed. A turret that does go down for Sudden Fear. There's some good news there as the next Dragon's due to come back in about 1:45. Yui in trouble, but he will try and get away here. The Great Escape is on M for Moon. Chases in. There are plenty of minions for Huey to go to though, and he'll safeguard away. And the rest of his team also coming back to help him there as well. do not want to be on the wrong end of a Malphite ultimate. In fact, Huey maybe likes his chances for a flank here.
Considering his options, that's for sure. Doesn't know he's sitting in a ward, obviously.
So just look through again. Lead still about the same if Rich Gang, grown out to a little bit more, about 5,000 gold, but they've just got so much control over this map. And Sudden Fear are getting turrets done. They've actually got all 3 of their outer turrets done, so that is good news for them, but they're losing vision control. Rich Gang is starting to put deeper and deeper wards in, and just looking like the team we expected to be, really on point.
Yeah, looking across the map, about 4 pink wards already down for Rich Gang, so they're getting the most out of their pink ward usage. And they're looking for a pick here. They've advanced their vision so far. There's almost nowhere safe for Sudden Fear to go.
Yeah, I honestly think that Rich Gang could probably even put pinks further up in here as well, and they'd be, have a pretty comfortable time defending them. And that, for me, that's my favorite new metric, by the way, for vision control. You look at the line of pink wards that a team has, and the further up they are, the more map control they have. It's just a nice, easy way to glance at the map and see, okay, this is roughly where the vision's at.
And obviously, we just want to see whether the people are picking up extra pink wards as they back. And only 1 picked up here on the support, but you're right. That's the best way to secure an advantage. If you know they have no idea whether you're really advanced and just right in their own jungle, you can be so confident when it comes to an objective like Baron.
Christmas tree, so we saw a little duel earlier with Chenny Boy. He's actually pretty tanky. Rich Homie will run away, and Rengar's here as well. He's got to be a bit careful. But Jack's just with the Trinity Force is starting to do damage now. It's up to him to get maybe the tank out of himself, get more gold going so he can actually start being a real bruiser.
Probably going to want to see Rengar moving back towards the dragon, which just spawned here. It might just be an easy one for Rich Gang to pick up there.
We'll see here as Rich Homie will continue to split push. Does have his teleport up as well. The dragon is also live, so if they want to be contested for that, both of these top laners can teleport down, but of course they can both cancel each other's ports as well. But Huey is going to start things up here.
Everything I do is one big show. It's about damn time that I take control. Put me under a microscope and watch me take control.
He actually had the option of just ulting over the Baron if they're backing out, but I think he fancied getting a return kill for his life. It's not fun.
Had his flash there as well, but didn't use that, decided to save it. Probably dead, especially once he committed to trying to get a kill. But Rich Gang's still being aggressive here on this map, despite being a man down. Death time is fairly short as well, and that's the 3rd dragon, I believe, there for Rich Gang in a row. Something to really snowball that objective.
So, I mean, with any comp, even with an early game comp, if you pick up 5 dragons, you know, the true damage in your orders is 16, but actually now it's 12%. AP and AD you get, it makes any comp, you know, win a team fight, even if they are early game focused. So if that's their goal right here, I mean, they're 3 out of 5 on the way.
Yeah, indeed. Rich Gang's going to clear out some of their buffs. Chenny Boy will get blue buff. Huey will clear out his Gromp. Level 11 now for Lee Sin as well. Had a pretty quiet game for him, apart from his early game pressure. Chenny Boy, I guess the star here, 206, but a fairly low kill game for Rich Gang. They've really just applied pressure when they've needed to.
And the low kills belie the big gold advantage. You've got 2,000 gold in the min lane here, 1,000 gold in top lane. I mean, actually, the AD carries are very close considering the game here. Only 300 gold is the advantage for Ezreal.
And the thing that I guess is not reflected in the gold lead there, which is only about 3,000 gold, not a massive lead, is that the 3 dragons that Rich Gang have are a huge advantage.
Absolutely. I mean, the stats they give, especially the movement speed, will help them so much in a team fight. You know, you've got a lot of assassin champions and dive champions coming out from Sudden Fear here, and that extra 5% move speed on some fairly mobile champions in the likes of Ezreal and Ari will serve them very well.
I mean, I think move speed is just one of those stats where it's so elusive as far as your how you itemize for it, that it's very valuable if you can get it. Because, you know, most people get it by boots. You only buy 1 pair of those.
Exactly, and that's why you see so many junglers going the mobility boots, is you're not realistically going to pick up a Zeal. Just aren't any other movement speed options.
Rich Gang, though, continuing to strangle vision towards the top right-hand corner of this map now as well. Christmas trees will back up. Quite a few people rotating to his position. And Rich Gang will actually stay in the top lane. We're going to have, looks like a 4-1 split push sort of deal here. Rich Gang will start off towards that inhibitor in the bottom lane.
And while Malphite can fairly happily clear the waves, he's obviously not going to be too much turret damage. Doesn't have any extra AD or AP, so it's going to slowly whack away at that top turret. Let's see all of the red team responding.
His W does give him a decent amount of attack, but I think Homie will actually find the ult. Good ball there to snare him in place. Rich Homie, once again, maybe going to get caught out of position. Does ult this time over the wall and should be safe for these flashes as well. And again, buying so much space for his team.
Yeah, Rich Gang now have the option of pushing the bottom lane here. Don't know if they'll be able to actually take down a turret, but they do have to get to advance their vision further and further.
Still have their teleport if they want it as well, but no Malphite ultimate, I guess. So Rich Homie actually pushing in the mid now, being a bit cheeky. Trying to push in as many waves as he can, and Sudden Fear really seems confined to their base at this point, which is not the place you want to be, that's for sure. This really speaks to the volumes of vision control that Rich Gang have acquired in this game.
Malphite goes back by the distortion, which can be very useful. It's often the case you want to cancel some of your unstoppable force animation just to ensure that AoE knockup there. And of course, having that teleport and a shorter cooldown when he's trying to split push is very useful.
Yeah, just gives them a few more options here. Doesn't really need the move speed. It's a pretty good gap closer, so not going to go for any of those other enchants, and we'll return back to the top lane here with his Sunpicker. I think that's an Aegis actually building as well, so being a very utility sort of tank for his team.
Yeah, just doing what he can. He has no interest in doing damage. He's very confident in Ezreal and Ahri for picking up the slack on that one. Just doing his team role.
So it looks like Ragnarock was popped in there as well. I think Romy going to try and look for a target. Who does he find? Look, he's jumping on it. It is Richter. Good ult coming in, but there's no way Zone is living through all that damage.
Yep, no dragon up to take though, and no vision around Baron. The most that Sudden Fear could do here is maybe advance their wards a bit, but they're just backing off with the kill.
I mean, and you know, it's never good to just get a kill and nothing else out of it, but at this point, oh, never mind. Christmas Tree is going to find Rich Homie, and then for Moon, going to go in there. Who's Rich Homie? No teammates here to find. No, Daychief that is actually in. There's Huey over as well. Crucial Blood does go wide. Daychief going in quite aggressive under this Corky, trying to take out Moon. Moon, though, does get the trade kill, as Rich Homie will pick him up. Now, Bomi in here as well onto that Rengar. No other kill spot coming on. Jenny Boy, good work down this bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, Pax just can't stand up to Jenny Boy here. He's getting good damage on the inhibitor, about half health right now, but unlikely he'll be able to finish it off. Lulu's coming in for a bit of assistance.
Yeah, Jenny Boy will back off as the rest of his team has sort of pulled away from the top side of the map. Looks like Huey's actually doing a tad of counter jungling, going to take away that red buff. So again, just trying to steal as much as they can from Sudden Fear. I think Rich Gang could do maybe be a bit more vigilant with their sweeping of the vision, because again they've got so much space on this map, but other than that they've played a really stellar game up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, they have the 4 sweepers as well, so maybe it's just a case that they're not using them in the correct spots. Maybe someone needs to be communicating as to where they think the wards are. I mean, they could obviously tighten communication, but they're playing to their win conditions, which is a good start.
Yeah, but to be fair though, this game is getting to a point now where Sudden Fear are going to start tipping the scales back a little bit. Now, that will take quite a while. Oh, Moon actually fighting Chenny Boy, but that's not a fair fight. Chenny Boy, easy solo kill there.
Absolutely, and Fizz comes to hold the lane here. A nice pick coming up, and you have to know it's going to be the 4th dragon coming down from Rich Gang, and that's just a timer for Sudden Fury to deal with.
And just as I was about to comment on the gold lead, I had completely forgotten that all of those dragons have been taken. You're right, Papa. There's just such an advantage, and of course when that 5th dragon rolls around, if Sudden Fear still don't want to contest, then all sorts of problems are going to be there, because it's just such a big damage boost. And I think the more important thing is not just that Rich Gang have 4 consecutive dragons, but have consistently denied Sudden Fear their 1st dragon as well.
It just sets a timer to the game, and it's one of the reasons why the dragon was changed in that way. We see taking so much extra time for Jack to take down the turret with all the attacks being both slows from Rich Homie. It's another way you can win the game. It's not just get that vision around Baron, take Baron, win game. The 5th dragon is just as important, and it shows that you've had that sustained vision advantage around Dragon, team fight around Dragon, and it will propel even this fairly low damage Rich Gang Kong into a victory.
And they've still got a strong lead here. 3 damage items out of this Ezreal. 2.5 basically completed there for Ahri as well. And just almost an embarrassment of Riches at this point. Randy was here for Lee Sin. The Aegis now done as well for Rich Malphite. Even a Mikhail's there for Sona as well. A very luxury item. Keeping those carries safe and Christmas trees. And spotted out Rich Homie here. A bit of a second ball when it comes to as well. You have maybe a 2v1 here, but the rest of Rich Gang rotating in as well. He's like, alright, fancy a fighting dog. Do have my Malphite off. It does get puzzled off. And I'll just wait here and progress more slowly here through the top
Yeah, they're going to try and push down this top town. Yeah, they're opening up more and more options to secure Baron.
Finally grouping this fight. I think Rich Gang realizes we've got enough of a lead here that we can just see you at least go tier 2 turrets here. And they'll be the last tier 2 going down as well. Going to be doing against very confident players from the just all around. And again, Sudden Fear, I think in the last 10 minutes or so, have just not wanted to leave their base.
And we see a pretty big minion wave coming down bottom lane here. Rengar will probably deal with it. They don't quite have their minions slow pushing in the way that would ensure they could take this top turret, but the pressure's there.
It is indeed. They'll clear out the pink wards as well that Sudden Fear have tried to put defensively down at starting Baron. I think they've recognized that Sudden Fear do not want to fight them for quite a while, so you know what? Why not take Baron?
And Sudden Fear would have seen that pink being taken down. You'd think they would have some idea that this Baron's going down, but realistically, what options do they have to take it?
Yeah, I mean, Chenny Boy's even waiting in the wings to see if anybody wants to walk by him and get picked up. He's got so much damage. Brawler will check way too late. Deja will go in. A Rich Homie burns the ultimate and picks off Lulu.
I mean, one kill's one kill in the late game. It's not ideal to use your Malphite ult on the support, but they're going to keep chasing.
Good flank there from Chenny Boy. DFG does so much damage, and that was a beautiful Orb of Deception use. Shutdown does come there under Fizz, but beautiful play from Chenny Boy. Just perfectly comboed that Corki as Jax will move in now as well. Pink Foamy, little too low, goes down. Good ult there to lock up Christmas trees for a while longer. Rengar's still alive. Christmas trees, though, not so lucky.
And Rich Gang are really relying on their team play to pick up these kills. You do start to see the lack of damage coming out of individual members, but with their smart grouping, and we see Rich Homie here, he's sitting on unbelievable amount of armor, 350 armor. They should be able to take down the first inhibitor of the game.
They're comfortably face tanking the inhib turret, and the inhibitor itself should fall. Remember, if this would leave Rich Gang one game away from not just another series win and a pat on the back, but a qualifying spot, a guaranteed spot in the Oceanic Pro League as well. So we'll see if they can close out at least this first game in the best of 3.
And they're going to back off here. A bit more gold. Just having a look at some of the gold values people are sitting on. 2,000 gold for Ezreal here. He can definitely start to pick up. I imagine the Bloodthirst is the next logical pickup here. Interested to see if there's any item times count for Malphite. Yeah, you were correct. You picked it up there. The Locket's the pickup here. It's a bit more tankiness for the team. And it's just all ahead on the Ari and Ezreal carry track.
Yeah, here's another chain nest as well. So he's just got an unbelievable amount of armor. It's going to be that Thornmail last of 310 armor.
Everything I do is one big show. It's about damn time that I take control. Put me under a microscope and watch me take control.
Very scared.
What's this? I finally rid this helplessness. Tired of feeling like I'm upside down.
Compared to 3 or 4 item tiles
Absolutely. The Rich Gang continue their dominance in this particular game. Going to move down to Komi. Very aggressive zoning here.
aggressive laughing. I can understand his confidence. I mean, that is a very tanky man, and Fizz is not enough to take this man down.
Chenny Boy as well has really just been such a threat that Sudden Fury have been scared to play around. The inhibitor turret's getting taken, and might have to pick a fight here. Pat gonna go in, but Rich Homie so tanky. Huey as well will help him. The Locky gets popped in there as well. Good barrage will keep them, but great all there from Rich Homie as well. And they're kiting back and forth under this turret. Rich Homie still tanking turret, by the way, and Chenny Boy does get the kill there on top. Perhaps no one did there from the side of Rich Gang as they do move in for their next bit. Now there's the smite on the moon. He goes down as well. 3 kills for 0, and Rich Gang with a dominant tower to end the game are going to do just that.
The fights are so long, Patient Town. I mean, Malphite was tanking that inhibitor tower for what? Good 15 seconds? You know, decided to back off, came back in with the unstoppable force, and he held onto that ultimate really well. They won the fight, and it looks like the first game's going to go for the Rich Gang.
And maybe not how we expect a late game team fight to play out, but just such good team play overall. Just such a intelligent snowballing as the lead as well from Rich Gang. It was really, again, the game we expected from this team. They've performed so well so far, looking to completely dominate this tournament and push themselves straight into the OPL. The question is, Papa, if they can do it, what fashion are they doing it in? Because that's a big message to send. You're just straight up 2-0.
Absolutely, and with such a tanky team comp and such a small amount of damage dealers there, it's just interesting to see them play a 2-threat comp, which isn't so common in Season 4 especially. It feels like more harkening back to Season 2 meta. And to pull it off so well, playing controlled League of Legends, strong shot calling, they take the win. It's going to be difficult for the enemies to get back into it.
And Malphite, man, way too tanky at the end of that game. Didn't even finish the Thornmail, didn't need it.
Ridiculous.
Was going to approach somewhere like, what, 400?
Not many champions can shrug off an inhibitor turret for 15 seconds.
No, not at all. Other elements as well, I mean, the Sona was good. I feel like it wasn't overly insane in the game. Like, I mean, it laned well. They clearly play well in that particular lane as well, but
We didn't see the sick flash crescendo that we were waiting for, but I mean, it was a nice contributing point to the lane of Faith being so comfortable.
I think we do have a replay from our last time. So let's jump into that, Papa. Take it away.
So we're watching the replay here around Dragon. This is where Southern Fierce started tanking the Dragon, and it was the Malphite coming in, the solo Malphite. This is, of course, after Southern Fierce already won a team fight. So we're thinking, okay, it should be an easy Dragon pickup here. Rich Homie holds on for so long, and of course, Moon have been tanking the Dragon there, so it fell so easily. And we see members slowly coming into the fight. So many low health bars for Southern Fierce. And it's a cleanup, and this is the start of the snowball, I think, for Rich Gang.
And again, just showing so much control and so much confidence in these team fights here. Again, you look at that comp, you don't expect to have, like, really one-sided team fight wins, but that's exactly what we got from that particular game. Just great stuff to watch.
Well, when you have those assassins and those damage dealers so well held, you know, relying on one item power spikes rather than the two that they comfortably want to look for once the tankiness prevails.
Yeah, it really did, and we are going to cut.